Welcome to Curiositas Chronicles podcast, where we deep dive into the evolving world of leadership and coaching. I'm your host Rohit, and today I'm thrilled to have a very special guest, Dr. Marshall Goldsmith, a world renowned executive coach and best selling author. He has coached many of the most famous leaders in the world, including the president of the World Bank, the president of the Rockefeller Foundation, some ministers in the UAE and Saudi Arabia, and the CEOs of the companies such as Pfizer, Ford, GSK, and Walmart. Marshall Goldsmith is the only two-time winner of the Thinkers 50 award for number one leadership thinker in the world. He has been ranked as the number one executive coach in the world and a top 10 business thinker for the past 8 years. Author of multiple New York Times bestsellers, including What Got You Here Won't Get You There and Triggers, he has been recognized by the top publications like Harvard Business Review and Forbes as the world's number one leadership thinker and executive coach. In this episode, we will explore leadership in the 21st century and the exciting development of the Marshall Board, an innovative tool designed to enhance leadership skills through AI technology. Before we start, I would like to thank Abhyuda Global Coach Circle for supporting this podcast. Let's dive into the world of Dr. Marshall Goldsmith and discuss leadership in the 21st century. Hello, Dr. Marshall. Welcome to the podcast.
Hello. Thank you so much for inviting me.
Thank you. Before we start, actually, I want to express my gratitude for you to come over and then, coming to this podcast for our listeners, for the world, and the wisdom you have shared across your career so far. It's been really, really influential and really, really learning for a lot of coaches like me and leaders like others. So really gratitude for everything you have done so far.
Oh, thank you so much. Thank you so much. So my mission in life is to give away everything I know to as many people as I can. So thank you for giving me this opportunity.
Thank you, Dr. Marshall. Yeah. So please, I would like to start with, please, if you can share your story, your background, and how you got into this coaching and world of leadership development.
Well, my background is I'm from a small town called Valley Station, Kentucky. I went to a little engineering school, Rose-Hulman Institute of Technology, where I made 5 Ds, almost got thrown out, barely graduated. But last year I went back and gave the commencement speech and got an honorary PhD. Yay.
Wow,
And the
well,
first thing I said was, "Hey, let's hear it for the bottom of the class. You never know. You never know here." So then after that, I got an MBA at Indiana University and a PhD at UCLA. I was a college professor and dean. Then for the next 47 years, I did three things. One, I've traveled all around the world speaking and teaching. So I love speaking and teaching. I've been to 102 countries. American Airlines alone, I have over 11 million frequent flyer miles. I've probably been to India 40 or 50 times. I'm going back to India end of May and June.
nice.
So I'm a very, very frequent traveler. I love working in India, by the way.
Yeah.
So the first thing I do is speaking and teaching. Then the second thing I do is I write books and articles. So I've written or edited 55 books. I've done 8 bestsellers. I've done 4 New York Times bestsellers. And I've done 47 books that were purchased only by my mother, my father, and my relatives. So I've done a lot of books. And then finally, I coach people. So I've been the coach of the CEO of Ford, Pfizer, Glaxo, World Bank, Mayo Clinic, all kinds of wonderful people. Personal side, I've been married 49 years. My wife's a psychologist. We live in Nashville, Tennessee now. My daughter's a professor here at Vanderbilt. Got a couple of grandkids here. Son's an entrepreneur. And
Nice.
for those of you who have teenagers, our young adults, you'll be impressed with my neighbors. One of my neighbors is Keith Urban, the famous country star.
Okay.
His wife is Nicole Kidman, the famous Hollywood actress,
Actress, yeah.
and who lives across the street. The house across the street is owned by one of Nashville's most famous residents, Taylor Swift.
Ooh, nice.
Yeah.
Who would want
Anyways,
to live close to you, Dr. Marshall?
and one of the things we're going to talk about now is my new project. It's called
Yes.
Marshall Bot. So I'm
Yes,
putting together everything I know on a computer bot. So before we get into that, though, any questions you have for me about leadership, life, anything?
Yeah, because you coached a lot of influential leaders.
Oh, wait
in
a
the
minute. I
past.
never answered your first question. How did I get into this? How did I get
Yes,
into
true.
this? I
Yeah.
met a very famous man named Dr. Paul Hersey. invented situational leadership with Ken Blanchard. And I went to his class. It was so good. I said, wow, I want to be like him. And I did a smart thing. I said, look, I will I'll serve the coffee, I'll move the tables, just let me sit in the back. So he did. So I tried to understand what he did and how he did it. One day he became double booked. He said, I need help. Can you do this? I said, I don't know. He said, I'm desperate. Can you do it? I said, I don't know. He said, I'll pay you $1,000 for a day. I was making $15,000 a year. You know what I said?
Yeah.
Yes, sir. I do this program for the Metropolitan Life Insurance Company. They're incredibly angry when I showed up, but I got ranked first place of all the speakers. He called him back. They said, we're angry, but this guy's great. Send him again. That's how I got into the development business.
Wow.
And coaching was the same way. I worked with the CEO of a big company, and he said, I've got this kid working for us, young, dedicated, hardworking, driven to achieve, stubborn jerk. He said it would be worth a fortune to me if that kid could change his behavior. I remembered the fortune. I said, I like fortunes. Maybe I could help him. Well, he said, I doubt it. I said, maybe I could help him. He said, I don't think so. Then I came up with an idea. I said, I will work with him for a year, and if he gets better, pay me. If it doesn't get better, it's free. You know what he said? Sold.
What? Sold.
There was nothing called coaching.
Yeah.
I just made that up. He got better and I got paid. Here we are.
Yeah. Brilliant. Yeah. Quite brilliant actually. So how do you actually evolve your coaching process then, when you get into coaching? Yeah.
Well, my coaching process, I'm a pioneer in something called customized 360-degree feedback.
Yes. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
for years, I helped companies develop 360-degree feedback inventories. I did this for some of the largest companies in the world at that time. And then after doing that, I began to realize that getting feedback was good, but nobody got better just because they got feedback. I mean, if everybody that got feedback got better, everyone got a physical exam would be in shape. It's not getting feedback that makes you better. It's what you do after you get feedback.
Mm.
So then I realized the importance of stakeholder involvement, involving all those people around you, following up with them, talking to them. And over the years, I evolved something called stakeholder-centered leadership. It's one of the most popular coaching processes in the world. It's used by, tens, if not hundreds of thousands of people around the world. And the idea is, as a coach, I'm a facilitator. My clients get confidential feedback. They pick important things to improve. They talk to everyone around them about what they've learned. And I would develop a follow-up strategy. And if they do the work, they pretty much always get better. So that's how the coaching process evolved. It's a very transferable process, by the way. One of the very best stakeholder-centered coaches, a fellow who died recently, his name Chris Coffey, he had no background in leadership, training, education, really much of anything, but he got great results. Why? Well, he didn't make coaching about himself and his own ego. He really focused on helping the client and the stakeholders and getting results. And he got great results. So what I've learned in my coaching process is the key variable is not the coach. The key variable is the people being coached. And the coach is a facilitator, not an expert.
Yeah. Yeah. I was listening to one of your podcasts as well earlier, and you mentioned regarding it's not about to show how smart I am, it's about how smart you are, as a coachee,
Exactly.
as a client. Yeah.
Exactly. In fact, one of the great leaders I coached is named Alan Mulally. Alan was the CEO of Boeing Commercial Aircraft. He went over to be the CEO of Ford. The stock went from 101 to 1840 when he was the CEO. And he had a 97% approval rating from every employee in a union company. Unheard of. Amazing.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
he's such a great guy. So we're writing a book together now. And so
Nice.
I talked to my friend Alan, and I said, Alan, of all the people I coach, I spent the least amount of time coaching you, and you improved the most. And I said, Alan, the person I coached the longest, I spent the most of time, he didn't improve at all and didn't get paid. I said, Alan, what should I learn about coaching from you? He taught me 2 lessons. He's changed my life. He said, number one, your mission as a coach is you work with great people. You work with great people, you're going to win. You work with the wrong people, you're going to lose. And he said, don't make coaching about yourself, your ego, and how smart you think you are. Make it about them, how hard they work, how much they care. Because nobody gets better because of you anyway. They get
Yeah.
better because of themselves. Well, this changed my life. This changed my life. And, I got ranked number 1 coach in the world for years. Why? No one knows I'm a good coach or not. Nobody's watched me coach people. Why do I get ranked number 1 coach? I have the number one clients in the
Clients.
world, and they say I'm the number one coach.
True.
And by the way, if you look at my book, The Earned Life, the first thing it says is the key to my success is not about me. Key
Yeah.
to my success is them. That's the
Them.
first thing you see in that book before the endorsements. What's the first thing you read? It's not about me, them.
It's about you. Yeah. Mm.
Yeah, I'm not great. They're great.
Yes. You know that you mentioned that you're writing a book with Ellen, and
Yeah. Yeah,
what
we're
would be
writing
the
a
book?
book
Yeah.
called
Writing book. Yeah.
Stakeholder Centered Leadership.
Ah.
And
Okay.
and the book is about how he has taken this concept
Hmm.
to a great level. So I do stakeholder centered coaching, which is a small part of his success. Small part. He has this whole leadership process where he involves every stakeholder, all kinds of complicated ways, gets them, has a regular process called the business plan review, which he's going to describe in the book. And it's really kind of the key to his success. It's an amazing process. Now, one thing I will say as a caution to everyone listening, there's two words we often confuse: simple and easy. See, everything I teach people is very simple. Nothing I teach people is very easy. Everything I teach takes courage. It takes courage to get feedback. It takes courage to look in the mirror. It takes courage to get up back and talk to people about what you want to improve. It takes humility. One thing I've learned in my job is I cannot help perfect people get better. If someone's perfect, there's nothing I'm going to do to help them. And it takes discipline. It takes discipline to do the hard work required to actually improve. Former governor of California, Arnold Schwarzenegger, we referred
Hmm.
to him as the governor. He had a great quote:
Later. Yeah.
nobody got muscles by watching me lift weights.
True.
Yeah, you got to lift the weights.
Yeah. True. So, when do you think, Dr. Marshall, that the leadership in 21st century is evolving? Then, what do you think? What are the critical traits for those?
I'm going to give you 5 key factors about how leadership in the future is going to be different than leadership in the past. Okay. The first factor is called global thinking. You see, leadership used to be much more domestic, local. I mean, let's go back in our history. There was a cave, there was maybe a small village, a tribe, city, country. Well, today leadership is global. I mean, we have interconnected people around the world. You're talking to me. We're
Yeah.
not in the same town, right?
Exactly.
So, global thinking is one key.
Mm.
The second key is cross-cultural appreciation of diversity, not like just in America what diversity means, but what diversity means with global diversity, working with people all around the world, not just a bunch of people in your country. Then the third factor I call technological savvy. I mean, technological savvy, let's look at our podcast here. This wouldn't have been even possible 10 years ago. And so, it's look at my new project with Marshall Bot, the computer bot. That wouldn't have been possible 2 years ago. The leader of the future is going to have to learn how to use technology. They don't have to be a technologist. They just need to learn how to use technology. And then number 4 is going to be building alliances and partnerships. More and more leadership is going to be a function of building alliances and partnerships, not just doing it on your own. In the old days, for example, IBM had no partnerships and they were proud of it. Today, they're nothing but partnerships. So everything is based on alliances and partnerships today, as opposed to this top down leadership. And then finally, the leader is going to be more of a facilitator, like my friend Alan Mullally, than an expert. So Alan has a great saying: if anybody ever asked him a question, he would always say, is there anyone in the company can answer this question better than me? If the answer is yes, why am I talking? Well,
Brilliant. Yeah.
you don't have to be the little god or the expert.
Yeah.
Can't know enough. You're a facilitator.
Brilliant. So, this is where I've been reading all the stuff Dr. Marshall has been going into. This leadership is all about being facilitator, all about being, empowering others to do because you hired them to do the job. You trust them to do the job. So, you are not the expert on everything, so that's brilliant. Okay. So, you talked about the Marshall Board. So tell us more about this. What is this Marshall Board?
Well, this is very interesting. So I want to encourage all of the listeners right now to sign up.
Okay.
Just go to Marshall Goldsmith, my name, Marshall has two L's, marshallgoldsmith.ai. Now, if you go to marshallgoldsmith.ai, you will get to go to MarshallBot for free. Now, you answer a couple of questions, then you're going to need to sign in. Just give them a passcode email, and it's all free. Now, this has been an amazing project. I'll give you a little of the history of the project
Please,
first.
yeah, please do. Yeah.
For years, I've tried to figure out a way to give away all I know with complete failure. I mean, I tried so many interesting things. I tried interactive video, these very large, clunky machines. They cost thousands of dollars and didn't work half the time. We tried branching, programming, fail, 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 up until last year. So what happened is with the advent of new technology, it is mind-blowing what this can do. So now I'm very, very lucky. I have my own AI computer bot. Go to, again, marshallgoldsmith.ai. And I'm one of the few people in the world that actually has one of these that's very serious. Why? Four qualities that I'm very fortunate to have. One is I've got a lot of content. If you do not have a lot of content, your own computer bot's not going to be that interesting, I can tell you. You need to have lots of content. Well, I've done 55 books. I've got a lot of content. Number two, I've got a lot of followers. On LinkedIn, I have 1.5 million followers. Well, you can do your own AI computer bot, but if no one cares, it doesn't matter. No one's going to go to it. Three, I'm willing to give everything away. I'm 75 years old. What am I saving things up for? I've got more money than I need. So I'm giving everything away. It's all free. There's no catch. There's no, this is free, but you pay more and you get something better. No, there is no catch. The only catch is there is no catch. It's all free. And then finally, there's a very generous group of people at Fractal Analytics in India who are basically paying for this. And I was the Srikanth and Pranay, the CEO, the co-founders. I'm their coach. And, the term guru just means, teacher in Hindi. And I'm the guru, and they're very kind and generous, and they're just doing this out of the goodness of their heart. So it's free for everyone. They've spent a lot of money on putting this thing together. So very few people have a lot of content, a lot of followers, willing to give it away for free, and some generous people writing checks to make it happen. So if you go to MarshallBot, this thing has been amazing. Let me give you the history and the evolution of it. First, the history. The history is this began, and it's beginning with text, T-E-X-T, text. You write in a question, it gives you an answer. That's good. It's going to evolve to audio. You speak to it, and you hear my voice give you an answer. Within a year or so, there's going to be video. You're going to see a video that looks and sounds just like me. And then next, it's going to be in multiple languages. You'll see a
Nice.
video that looks and sounds just like me speaking to you in multiple languages.
Nice.
Now, this has been mind-blowing to me because my goal was it would teach people everything I know for free. It's much better than that. Let me give you some stories. One of my clients is named Dr. Patrick Frias. He's the CEO of a very large children's hospital. They're merging with another children's hospital. They're going to have one of the largest hospitals in the United States. He is going to be what's called the co-CEO. Co-CEO. Very unusual job arrangement. You don't see it much. I've worked with two or three, but there aren't that many. They're really not that much known about it. So I said, tell me everything you know about being a co-CEO. I typed it into marshallgoldsmith.ai. The answer was amazing. He said, that's amazing. But he said this one thing that came up, this setting boundaries. Tell me more about that. Boom. 10 different comments on setting boundaries. Give me suggestions. I talked to my friend Al Mulally. He invented this working together program. I said, describe Al Mulally's working together program. Boom. And he's an engineer. If anything was wrong, he would tell me. No, perfect. Then he said, but I'm interested in specifically more about the business plan review process. Boom, perfect again. It's mind blowing.
Nice.
And so my daughter wants to trick it. My daughter Kelly said, "How is your coaching related to utilitarian philosophy?" I don't even know what that is. Perfect answer.
Yeah.
If you ask it, "How is your coaching related to Buddhist philosophy, for example?" Boom. It'll give you just an amazing answer. Then you can take any subcomponent of the answer. For example, the concept of impermanence. It'll give you just an answer. It'll give you an immediate answer to that. So where are you calling from? What city?
I'm from Bedford, UK. Yeah.
You're in the UK.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And where are most of your listeners from? UK?
I'm from India originally. Yeah.
Mostly India. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. So you can say I've been here 20 years. So 25 in India, 20 years here now, nearly half of my life here.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
anyway, yeah, I've been
Uh,
to London many
mm,
times as well.
yeah.
I've over
Yeah.
1 million frequent flyer miles on British Air, and I don't even live there. So I've been to London many times.
Yeah.
And so, what it can answer is amazing. So what it does is, I say, let me just say, I ask it a question for everyone in India. How is your coaching related to Hindu philosophy? My coaching, while not directly derived from Hindu philosophy, does share commonalities with the principles. For instance, the concept of karma in Hindu philosophy, which is about the law of cause and effect, resonates with the idea of personal responsibility that I emphasize in my coaching. I encourage clients to understand their actions have consequences and the power to influence their future through the choices they make today. Similarly, the Hindu concept of dharma or duty can be likened to the sense of purpose and integrity that help leaders cultivate in my coaching. I stress the importance of aligning one's actions with their values and goals, akin to living one's dharma. It goes on and on and on. And it talks about how what I teach is related or not related to Hindu philosophy. And then you could get even more specific, and it'll answer questions on and on and on. And what it does, which is amazing, it will study Hindu philosophy. It will study my coaching. It will then connect the key points of Hindu philosophy with my coaching and answer it in my voice in 5 seconds.
Wow.
And in the future, answer it in a video that looks and sounds like me speaking in multiple languages in 5 seconds.
Okay.
This is mind blowing.
It will be. Yeah.
This is
Mm,
mind blowing. So, one of the key things that I teach in my book, The Earned Life, is based on the Gita. And one of the things I get out of it is, I'm reading it, what it says here is looking at the Gita, what are some of the key points that I've gotten from this? One is the idea of detachment from results. One of the great learnings is that the Gita teaches about performance of duty without attachment to the outcomes. And my coaching focused on what we can control, our actions and efforts, rather than being overly concerned with what we can't control. Helps people stay motivated and resilient. And one thing that I talk about in my book, The Earned Life, which is evolved from the Gita, is attachment to results is a problem. Here's why. The great Western myth is I will be happy when I get the results, when I get the money, when I get the status, when. After I get the win, everything's going to be fine. Well, there's a concept called the hungry ghost, always eating but never full. You never get there. You never get there. And one of my clients made a very profound comment. He said, happiness and achievement are independent variables. Achieve to achieve. Achievement is good. Be happy to be happy. But never believe the achievement of results will help you find peace or happiness. It won't. Because if you become addicted to the achievement of results, you know what you're going to have more and more and more results. You'll never stop. Anyway, the computer bot is amazing at the level of detail, and you could ask it questions about almost anything, and it can give you some pretty amazing answers.
yeah. So I tried a few times, and obviously I'm very, very gobsmacked how great answers were from the Marshall board. So I'll put a link in the description if anyone hasn't got it. But how is different to ChatGPT then?
Very good question. Every computer bot is biased in some way. Now, Google's computer bot Gemini just blew up.
Yes, it
I
did.
don't know if you saw what happened. It was awful.
Yeah.
They said, please send us pictures of Vikings and Nazis and a Pope, and they were all Black Americans.
Yeah.
It got so focused on being politically correct that the answers have started coming out now as a statement of San Francisco, U.S. left-wing political politics. Now, I don't get involved in politics. I'm not saying that's good or bad. The reality is 90% of humans around the world do not identify with left-wing American political politics. And these bots are programmed that way. It's not bad or good, it's just what they are. Any computer bot is a biased. Let me explain why. If you ask me a question, what is leadership? I'll give you an answer. Well, there are 30 definitions of leadership. Why this answer? My old teacher, Dr. Paul Hersey, taught me a great lesson. He said, use operational definitions. Now, what that means is, if you ask me what is leadership, I can say, well, to me, leadership is. A person might say, I disagree. My response is, that's fine. There are probably 20 different definitions of leadership. None are better or worse. This is just a definition. When I use this word, it's what I mean. Now, here's how MarshallBot is different than ChatGPT, Gemini, or the other chats. It's not saying it's the right answer. It says it's my answer. It says it's my answer. So I'm not saying it's the best answer, the only answer. It's my answer. Well, you either, if you're on a computer bot, get a totally biased answer, or you get a consensus answer, which is kind of a mishmash of everything. In mine, you get an opinion. At least you know where it's coming from. Who's the judge? I'm the judge. Now, I got ranked #1 leadership thinker in the world, #1 coach. This is my opinion. I'm not saying it's perfect. It's my opinion. That's how it's different than ChatGPT and the others. In their case, they're all biased anyway. Mine is biased. The difference is it's obvious what the bias is.
Yeah.
Now, a couple of other differences. One, mine does not discuss politics. If you ask it, who is Donald Trump? You know what it says? I don't know. It doesn't discuss politics.
Yeah.
It doesn't give you medical advice, and it doesn't give you financial advice.
Mm.
So it is designed strictly to help people achieve positive change, leadership, life, coaching, philosophy. What I talk about, it is designed not to express political opinions or other opinions that are focused on political correctness.
Obviously, there were a lot of talks on if AI is good for us or not. What are your thoughts on this, if it's good for us and for everyone?
Well, the answer is AI is like all technology. Is it going to be good or bad? The answer is obvious, good and bad. There are elements of this that are going to be very good, and there are elements that can be very bad. I'm not naive. I mean, I wrote an article 25 years ago, and I said within 25 years, there's going to be something called instant download TV quality, audio visual over something like what is now the internet. I said, when that happens, media addiction will surpass drug addiction and alcohol addiction combined as a social problem. Media addiction is a disaster in our society, and I have the new Apple Pro Vision. It's only going to get worse. I'm not naive. This has potential for many bad things. One of my great friends is Martin Lindstrom. By the way, he has incorporated all of his knowledge into MarshallBot as well.
Oh, okay.
So I'm working with all my friends, so they're incorporating their knowledge into this. The people I respect.
Mm.
I've said, Martin, he totally understands the problem of media addiction, how it messes up people's heads. He won't even carry around a cell phone. So I said, Martin, why are you working on the world's largest metaverse project? You know what he said? It's going to happen anyway. Option A, make the best of it. Option B, sit back and complain. Well, for all of our listeners, let me help you. This is going to happen anyway.
It would.
I was doing a group, one of the coaches in a group I talked about said, I'm not sure we should support this. You know what I said? Who are you? There are trillions of dollars sitting here on the table. Do you think you are going to make any difference on this at all? Grow up.
Yeah.
Grow up. This train has left the station. It's going to happen. You're not going to stop it. I'm not going to stop it. The United States government is not going to stop it. Nobody's going to stop this. Option A, make the best of it. Option B, just sit back and complain. So my vote is let's make the best of it.
Best of
Look, let's look at technology. I'm talking to you right now. We are using advanced technology that was not available 20 years ago.
exactly.
Now, hopefully, this is good.
Yeah.
Hopefully, it helps people. Well, okay. Now, does that mean technology is good in and of itself? No. Does it mean technology is bad in and of itself? No. It is what it is. Just the question is, how can I use it to do good and not do harm?
Probably it's on us as well, right? How to make it the best use of this rather than complain. It's who we are the ones who are using this technology and kind of thinking like it's our responsibility to use it as the best as we can and for the service of others rather than using it for personal agenda or making the worst of this technology. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I completely agree with what you just said. Yeah.
So I then obviously this is free, right, for everyone. I mean, this is great. So thanks again, gratitude again to creating this. So what do you think
Well,
this
so far, now I'm going to give your audience a request. So far, my friend MarshallBot, that's what it's called, MarshallBot, has answered about 39,000 questions.
Oh, okay.
I'd like to get this up to about 1,000,000 as soon as I can, because the more
Wow.
I answer questions, the more it learns.
More he learns.
So
Yeah.
everyone, please sign up. Now, I'll give you my email address, marshall@marshallgoldsmith.com. If you use it and you have any questions or anything you'd like to share with me, send me an email, because this project is the most important project in my life right now. This is for me. Look, what's the definition of legacy? Legacy is being there when you are not there. Well, this is as close to legacy as I'm going to get. I'm designing this to be there when I'm not there. I'm 75. I'm not going to be here forever. I have a short time left on this earth. I mean, I'm healthy, but I'm not going to be here forever. My goal is just to give away everything now.
That's that's great thinking, Marshall. That's very, very thanks. Again, gratitude again, for creating this. A legacy. Like I said, this is why probably it's more important to you to do this now with the technology we have to best use this now
Yeah,
to
I
create
love
the
it.
future leaders. Yeah. Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah.
Now, describe to me your listeners, and I'll see if I can give them some free coaching while we're talking. Who are your typical listeners?
The leaders, the coaches.
Okay.
Yeah.
So let me give some advice for, by the way, one other thing I am going to do if anyone is interested. I'm going to be doing 2 day, back to my giveaway project. Let me describe the history of this next thing. I decided to give away everything I know to 15 people, to teach them all I know for free. And the only price is when they got old, they had to do the same thing. So I made a little video and put it on LinkedIn, very primitive video.
Okay.
And I said, I'm going to give away everything I know for free. If you're interested, let me know, but you have to give back to others. I thought maybe 100 people would apply, and then I would adopt 15 people. That was my goal. 15 young people, probably. I was wrong. 18,000 people applied to be adopted.
Wow.
So now I've adopted about 400 people. Now, good news and bad news. The program is called 100 Coaches. There are now 400 people in it. What happened, though, is the people are amazing people. Like I mentioned, Alan Mulally, he said, I want to be in your group. Jim Kim's president of the World Bank. I want to be in your group. Well, I can't say no to these people, right? I can't reject them. So I like one guy, he had 10,000 books. So why? I said, why are you applying for this group? You've sold more books than me. He said, I still want to learn. You can't say no to such a person. This year is going to be different. I'm not inviting CEOs. No CEOs, no billionaires. I've got like 4 billionaires in the group. There are no billionaires, there are no CEOs, right? I'm inviting young people who wanna be better leaders, and
Yeah.
all I'm charging is expenses. I'm spending 2 days in Nashville where the young people, and then I'm gonna spend, if anyone's interested in training what I do, an extra 3 days with them. So that's coming up this summer. If anyone's interested, send me an email, marshall@marshallgoldsmith.com. And it's an exciting idea. And what I want to do is, again, same idea, just give away everything I know.
Yeah.
And it doesn't hurt me any. Now, the only price is if you come, when you get old, you have to give back to others.
Definitely. So please email everyone whoever wants to be part of that. Yeah, I'll definitely apply, Marsha. I'll definitely apply.
Yeah, it's very exciting.
Very
It's
exciting.
very
Yeah.
exciting. So, very interesting idea of, and again, it's the same thing. Yeah, and I think hopefully what I'm doing will be a precedent for other people like me.
Yeah.
I mean, why save it? Save it for what?
Yeah.
Just to give away as much as you can. And I mean, you shouldn't try to hoard knowledge and wisdom. Now, I'm often asked a question, is MarshallBot going to replace coaches? And the answer is not really. You see, what MarshallBot is doing, it provides information and knowledge, not coaching. Most coaches are not in the information providing business anyway.
Yeah.
Most coaches are in the facilitation and asking questions. And the problem with what I do is not understanding the concepts. It's execution and implementation is the hard part. Well, the bot is not designed to be a coach. This is designed, though, to share knowledge and information. So when I coach people, I actually use it myself. The client wants to be a more effective delegator. I'd say, please give me ideas to help me be a more effective delegator. Boom. Now, one of the concepts I teach is called feed forward. Feed forward. Feed forward. I'm a Buddhist. Buddha said only do what I teach if it works for you. If it doesn't work for you, it's okay, just don't do it. Well, feed forward is based on this Buddha concept. If you ask MarshallBot for ideas, it gives you ideas.
I did try.
These are typically ideas that I would approve. If you want to do it, do it. If you get 6 ideas and you only like 2, use the 2.
Use it too.
If you don't get any ideas you like, it's okay. It's free. It doesn't cost anything. Why wouldn't you do it?
Yeah.
Well, as a coach, why wouldn't you do it? And as a leader, what do you have to lose? What do you have to lose? Like I said, I got ranked #1 leadership thinker in the world twice. I'm not saying it's perfect. It's just my ideas. At least you know, though, where it's coming from. You know it's my ideas. I'm not pretending to be objective. Yeah, like the other bots are pretending to be objective. They're not objective. No, they're not objective. They're very political. They're all US left-wing politically correct things. I'm not saying they're bad, but they're certainly biased. They're certainly biased. Well, mine's biased too. It's biased with my opinion. At least you know what the bias is, though.
Yes, at least we know. Yeah, indeed. Yeah. Yeah. So again, obviously, with this help of the AI bot you created, and the leaders can climb their career ladders as well, right? And you mentioned number one skill is leaders, is to ask good questions. Why?
Right.
Why you think is that? Why asking good questions is the number one skill for
This
leaders?
is very important. Peter Drucker was the founder of modern management. Again, I'm very fortunate. I may have got ranked #1 leadership thinker. My brain compared to him is that of a 10-year-old. He was such a smart man. And he taught me many things. One of the reasons I do this is so many nice people help me. And did he ever charge me any money? Zero. All free. I'm giving back to others because he gave to me.
Yeah.
This whole project is in honor of all those great teachers who helped me. Well, he taught me many lessons. He said the leader of the past knew how to tell. The leader of the future knows how to ask. Now, back to your good question. Why is that so important? In the old days, the leader knew more than the followers. Now, if I know more than you, I can legitimately tell you what to do and how to do it. I know more than you. If I do not know more than you, how can I tell you what to do and how to do it when you already know more than I know? Well, today we manage people called knowledge workers. What is the definition of a knowledge worker? They know more about what they're doing than their boss does. Well, if I manage people who know more about what they're doing than I do, I can't tell them what to do and how to do it. I have to ask, I have to listen, and I have to learn. As Peter Drucker said, the leader of the past knew how to tell, the leader of the future knows how to ask. So that's what got me on the whole path about asking.
Do you think the leaders of the future need to learn about coaching as well? Like,
Oh,
the
yeah.
skills we talk
And I
about.
think
Yeah.
well, the good news is leaders are much better at coaching than ever before. By the way, you read all of these criticisms of leaders today.
Yeah.
The average leader today in a corporation is much better than they've ever been in history. The average leader is better. Here's the irony. While leaders have become better and better and better, their feedback has become worse and worse and worse. Why? People's expectations have changed. People ask me a ridiculous question. Are leaders more bullies today than ever before? Are they more bullies than they've ever been? It is an insane question. Ask the people who built the pyramid about leaders being bullies. They had whips. They had whips. They beat people. That was the old days. Leaders were always bullies. This is much better today. Leaders are nicer. They're less racist. They're less sexist. They're more thoughtful. They're more considerate, and they get more criticism than ever before. Why? The world has changed. The world has changed. And now the leaders really have to listen to the followers, and the followers don't have to be there. The high knowledge workers don't have to work for you. They can get another job. Well, they don't want to put up with nonsense. So what happens is, like college professors, my daughter is a college professor. College professors are nicer than they've ever been. They're more considerate to students than ever before, and their feedback is worse every year. Why? The expectations have changed. The extreme example is medical doctors. In the old days, the old medical doctor would yell at the interns, scream at them, swear at them every day. It was just life. Today, they get fired for doing that. What's happened to the complaints about medical doctors? Much higher than ever. So, what's happened is we live in a world where the expectations of leaders have totally changed. Now, you could say it's good or bad. It doesn't matter. It is. One of the great sayings from, I think it was Nehru, he said, in life, you don't control the hand you're dealt. You do control how you play the cards. Well, it is what it is. As a leader, you can sit there and complain about the new world. You live in the new world. You're not going to change society. You got to learn to make the best of it. And the stuff that worked for leaders in the old world doesn't work today. It doesn't work today. And the stuff that you could get away with in the past as a matter of regular life, today you're going to get fired.
Quite thoughtful. Thank you, Dr. Marshall. Thank you. Before we end, I mean, we need at the end of our session. I'm thinking I need to do part 2 of this. There are a lot of discussions we need to do. What advice would you give to someone like new coaches or new leaders coming into this role for the first time?
Well, I'm going to do 2 things before we depart, if you do not mind.
Please, yeah.
One is I'm going to give advice to new leaders and coaches. 2 is I'm going to give just broad advice to people as humans. So first, the advice for leaders and coaches. This is more good advice I got from Peter Drucker. Our mission in life is to make a positive difference, not to prove how smart we are and not to prove how right we are. We're not here on earth to prove we're smart or right. We're here to make a positive difference. That one comment led to my book, What Got You Here Won't Get You There. It's very deep. Not very few of us understand that. We get lost in being smart and right. Number two advice from Peter Drucker. Every decision in life is made by the person who has the power to make the decision. Not necessarily the smartest person, a fair person, or the best person. That person. If I need to influence you and you have the power to make the decision, there's one word to describe you, customer. One word to describe me, salesperson. Customers don't have to buy, salespeople have to sell. In life, you're responsible for selling. You got to sell your ideas. You got to sell your thoughts. You can't sit there and feel bad because they don't buy. Peter Drucker taught me this. You have to learn how to sell. Now, the other advice from Peter Drucker that is related to the Gita, sell what you can sell and change what you can change. If you can change it, change it. If you can sell it, sell it. If you're not going to sell it and you're not going to change it, let it go. Don't spend your life focusing on what you cannot change. Spend your life focusing on where can I make a positive difference. I mean, we could have spent this whole talk about what I'm not going to change about artificial intelligence. A total waste of time. Put your energy on what you can change. And final advice, are we ready? Take a deep breath. Everyone listening, take a deep breath. Imagine you're 95 years old, you're just getting ready to die. Right before you take that last breath, you're given a beautiful gift, the ability to go back in time and talk to the person who's listening to me right now. The ability to help this person be a better leader, much more important, to have a better life. What advice would that wise old person who knows what mattered in life and what didn't and what was important and what wasn't, what advice would that old person have for the you that's listening to me right now? Well, whatever you're thinking now, do that. In terms of performance appraisal, that's the only one that's going to matter. That old person says you did the right thing, you did the right thing. That old person says you made a mistake, you made a mistake. You don't have to impress anyone else. Some of my friends interviewed old people who were dying, got to ask a question, what advice would you have? On the personal side, 3 themes. Theme number 1, 3 words, be happy now. Not next week, not next month, not next year, be happy now. Great Western disease, I'll be happy when I get the money, status, BMW, be happy now. Number 2, friends and family. Never get so busy climbing that corporate ladder of success you forget the people who love you. Big mistake. And number 3, if you have a dream, go for it. Because if you don't go for it when you're 40, you may not when you're 80. Business advice is much different. Number 1, life is short. Have fun. Enjoy what you're doing. Number 2, take the time to help and develop people. The main reason to help people has nothing to do with money or status or getting ahead. The main reason to help people is much deeper. The 95-year-old you will be proud of you because you did and disappointed if you don't. And the final advice is go for it. The world's changing. Your lives are changing. Do what you think is right. You may not win, at least you tried. Old people, we seldom regret the risk we take and fail. We always regret the risk we fail to take. And finally, again, thank you so much for inviting me. My goal on this podcast is simple. I hope maybe something I'm doing with my computer bot or my program or this podcast maybe help someone have a little better life. And if someone has a little better life based on our conversation, it's a good conversation. Thank you.
No, thank you, Dr. Marshall. Thanks once again. Gratitude for you to take time. I know it's early morning over there and coming in and speaking to us. And, like I want to end this, even if touches one person, I think I personally as a host and you as a speaker, I think as a guest, I think probably we made it in the end. Even if it touches one person's heart or one person's change. So thank you very much again, once again. So
Thank you.
Thank you, listener. Thanks a lot for listening. Thank you. Bye-bye, Marshall. And take care, everyone. Stay safe and join the Marshall boat. Sign up today and start climbing your career ladder. Thank you.
Thank you so
Bye-bye.
much.
Bye.
Bye-bye.